Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. Movie Film Podcast, enjoy the show. Zachy and Brian are talking about movies. Movie Film Podcast on the radio.
Welcome to Movie Film. This is episode 211, brought to you by Mr. Boy Productions. My name is Zachy Hassan. I'm here with Brian Hall.
Hey, how's it going, Zachy?
It is November 1st, Brian.
Wow. Yeah, I'm just looking at the episode 211. I was like, wow, 211 episodes.
Kind of crazy. Yeah.
But no, November, yes. And daylight savings, which we just enacted last night.
Which is some bullshit. I say this at least twice a year. I am fed up with the very concept of daylight savings. I find it, at this point, I find it a crime against God's law, frankly.
It's funny because I've been sort of programmed in my head to think, oh, the fall one, that's the good one, because we get the extra hour of sleep.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, when I did wake up an hour earlier this morning, I felt like, in like Ralph Wiggum voice, like, I'm an early riser now, But, the whole getting dark thing early is just soul crushing.
It's friggin' ridiculous. We are recording this now. It's like 1:30,
yeah,
and basically by the time we're done, it'll be like black as pitch out right now.
Right.
But basically, it's absolutely useless. I have no use for it. And I want to see the manager of daylight savings time. I don't know who to talk to about that, but I think it's time.
I'm sure this is obvious, and you're going to agree with this, but I am curious. Do you feel this where? Working from home, and I worked from home before all this already, but, if I have a lot of work to do and it's, say, 5:30 or 6, I'm like, and when the sun goes down at, say, 8:30 or 9, I'm like, okay, well, I'll just push for one more hour. And then I do, and I'm still happy, and I eat dinner, and then I see the sun, and, all is great. But then when the sun goes down at 5 or 5:30, and I haven't even reached what would be my normal ending time of work for the day, I'm like, oh, wow, what's the point? And I just stop, Do you feel that, like, psychologically?
Very much so.
Yeah, it's so weird. But I'm like, no, I would normally work for at least another hour or more. But I just feel like, oh, no, we're done. It's closing time.
Yeah, it's and you hear the song.
Yes.
And at that point you just want to pack it in. Yeah, I agree. It's I teach an afternoon class that goes from 3:40 to 5. And normally when I'm on campus, I'm like indoors and I have no concept of time passing. But this is going to be weird because I'm basically where I'm at now is I'm teaching in my backyard.
Right.
Which is the only place in my house where I can get away from just all of the awful people that live with me. I hate them all. So now it's going to be this weird thing where like I'm basically sundowning while the sun is downing.
Right.
In class. I'm not sure I'm ready for that.
Yeah, that's that weird thing. Sometimes this happens on FaceTime or whatever, where you're talking to someone and there's light coming in, and then all of a sudden it's just the light from your device shining on your face.
Yep. And it's extra weird for me because I have like the Zoom background, the artificial thing, so it's even more weird.
Oh, because you're changing?
I'm changing, but my background stays the same. So it's like I'm going through some horrible mutation process,
Yeah.
But whatever. It can't complain either way.
Yeah, happy to be keeping this up with you.
Well,
that remains the same.
We and I appreciate that, and of course we have lots of stuff to talk about. So let's just get into it. I mean, you've probably been watching a lot of stuff lately.
Yeah, I've seen quite a few things. I watched a documentary called The Way I See It, which is about Pete Souza, who was the official White House photographer for both Ronald Reagan and Barack Obama. And I recall reading about this months ago. I thought it was last year, but I guess it was months ago. And as soon as I heard about this, I was like, man, this just sounds like something I'd really enjoy. And just seeing all these photographs he's taken and then hearing, I guess, what it's like to be a fly on the wall with the president of the United States, and what's that like, and being in those secret rooms, and
like you're not assisting in the decisions, but you're there when the decisions are being made.
Yeah, you're there for almost, well, I was going to say you're there for almost everything, but it does depend on the president. They sort of choose how much access they give you or how much they want you around. But
oh, sure.
Reagan seemed pretty agreeable with all of it, and there's some really fun footage of him taking a picture of Ronald and Nancy when they're like by a tree, and they're trying to decide. This is actual video footage, and they're trying to decide how they should pose. And the photographer's like, "Well, I don't know, maybe pretend like you're watering it or something." And he's like, "Okay," like picks up like a hose, and he's like, "Hey, I got an idea." And then Reagan's like, he picks up a chainsaw. He's like, "How about it looks like I'm trying to cut it down, and Nancy's trying to stop me." It's really funny. And then, of course, when you get to the Obama administration, I mean, he was completely not only open to having him there, but there's a lot of footage of him sort of joshing around with the guy, and I won't give away too many of the fun moments, but he's also there for the tense moments, like the Bin Laden raid. I mean, he took the picture.
That famous
he's in that room, and can you imagine being in that inner circle? Even though you're not doing any of the decision making, but it's up to you to capture that moment and not get in the way.
Well, and not just that, Brian. It's up to you to capture that moment and not know how it ends.
Yeah.
Right? Like that is an instantly iconic photograph now because we're like, oh, that's right before Bin Laden is killed.
Right.
But it could have gone any number of ways.
Yeah, and you're there. And that could be, it could have gone horribly sideways, and you're there and like, snap, taking pictures of, however way it turns out. But what really struck me about it, though, was, I mean, you just see what a people person Barack Obama was, and just so much FaceTime with people, and it's all, hands on shoulders and touching backs and hugs and just the warmest.
All the stuff that triggers us now.
I was going to say, because it was so weird where it was really a dual feeling I was having, because obviously it's really nice to see such an empathetic person in a role of leadership, and it really warms your heart, and you're like, oh, that's just how it's supposed to be. But then there's another part that I would not have predicted several months ago where, I weirdly found it kind of triggering. Like, you shouldn't, your faces are so close. Like you don't, and it's just, I am a people person, and I like shaking hands, and I like hugging, and it's just so weird to have that shift, and it's weird to me that I already have that reaction now when I see it. So that's just a little 2020 asterisk to that. But the movie itself, I found really fascinating, and I would definitely recommend it.
So I have this saved on my DVR because, as soon as I heard about it, I was like, oh, I want to watch this, and I've been holding off because I'm like, I'm in such a state of emotional uncertainty right now that I'm like, I don't know if watching this is going to make me feel better or worse.
I found it uplifting, personally. I mean, I like just knowing how it can be. Yeah. And not how it isn't. And I know it may play that way for some people, but just knowing how it can be, it just makes me feel good. I don't know. Okay. But I watched another political film. This wasn't a documentary. This was a movie that just kind of came and fell off the planet when it was released. But it's called The Front Runner, and I'll just read the IMDb thing. In 1987, U.S. Senator Gary Hart's presidential campaign is derailed when he's caught in a scandalous love affair. So I didn't realize it opens with this oneer that's really kind of interesting, and people in a news van, and then it goes to a crowd, and then it goes to security, and then it goes to this, and then it goes to a hotel window, and I was like, wait, who directed this? And it turns out it was Jason Reitman.
That's right.
Which I don't even remember that from when it came out, that was a Jason Reitman movie. But, and he really hasn't had, like, super great luck, with his movies hitting. Even when they're good, I find that I tend to like him. I
feel like Up in the Air...
Yeah.
Between Up in the Air and, like, what's he done since Up in the Air?
I liked Tully. I liked Young Adult, and then he did another one that I know he did like a Social Media is Bad movie that just completely did not land.
That's right. I remember that.
And there may be one more in there, and then of course this didn't really hit either. But and it was interesting too because as I was queuing it up, I was sort of looking and Rotten Tomatoes and things like that, and it was fine-ish. All the reviews, and so I found it better than fine. Like it's not like some sort of knockout of a film, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was interesting. I thought it's just stacked in terms of actors. I mean, just so many people in this. Hugh Jackman plays Gary Hart, Vera Farmiga, J.K. Simmons, Alfred Molina. Just a lot of people just keep showing up, and you're like, oh wow. I think the only thing that sort of rubbed me a little bit like, is everybody talks like that really smart alecky person.
Okay.
So it's like, how much clever dialogue can I listen to from every single character? It starts to get to be a bit much.
Yeah.
I mean, you like it because it crackles a little bit, but it also feels like a lot. And maybe, I don't know. But the story itself is interesting. I mean, this guy was the front runner, and it ended up for the Democratic nominee for running for president, which then went to Michael Dukakis because Gary Hart underestimated that this scandal anything would become of it. His whole thing was, oh yeah, this happened, I got caught. America doesn't care. Like, what does this have to do with politics? And then of course the movie is it all unraveling in front of his eyes.
Right.
But I would recommend this. I mean, I think it was on HBO. I could be wrong. Maybe it was Stars or something. But this is like a total cable Friday night movie. It really does feel like, the fact, as you mentioned, it didn't perform particularly well theatrically, and it feels like maybe, as we've talked about, the pandemic has accelerated the move of films to streaming. This seems like a Netflix movie, doesn't it? It totally does. Absolutely. Yeah, and it's funny too because I mentioned Bad Education, which is I think a better movie.
Another Hugh Jackman joint.
Yep, and I would definitely recommend that one. That was a great movie. But it's funny because in both movies, he plays a real life character who dares the press to come after him, and they do, and it brings him down.
Like, don't do that. You know what's funny? So I haven't seen The Front Runner, which is weird because I mean it's like right in my wheelhouse, right?
Totally, yeah.
I had planned to see it when it was in theaters, and I just never got around to it. But I do plan to. But I know the Gary Hart story because exactly what you said. Like, he's just like, come on, bring it on. It's like that kind of thing. It's like, dude, don't do that.
Yeah, because I know in Bad Education, he does the same thing to this, what am I trying to say? High school reporter character who is, I guess it really happened, but he's just like, hey, follow me around, go for it, like follow the money, sure, why not? It's like, why would you do that? But but no, I just enjoyed it as a story I didn't really know, and the performances are good, and I think at first I was like, oh, is this just going to be like wisecracks the whole time for like the first 20 some minutes? But then the story kicks into gear, and it's an enjoyable watch, I thought.
You do have to wonder if your Gary Harts and your Michael Dukakis and like all these other guys who got, that's the plural of Dukakis, of course. Right? Yeah. That's the accepted pronunciation. Right? All these politicians who got, Howard Dean, who screamed that one time.
Yeah.
Like, you have to wonder if these guys look at Trump and they're just like, come on.
Yes.
I mean, we're at a point now because we're watching the crazed last 48 hours, and we are like 6 hours away from Trump literally shitting in one of his supporters' mouths and being like, what's up? And it's just like a 2-minute story on the nightly news before you move on to something else.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's yeah. I forgot about that Howard Dean thing. I mean,
Howard Dean.
I remember very little about him, but like, I mean, that just is. I can hear it in my head even.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's one of those things where, like, forget agreeing or disagreeing with his platform. He never even made it that far.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I can't honestly remember much about him other than that, but that kind of sucks. Like, you'd rather live and die by your sort of plans and policies.
Anyway, sorry, go on.
Oh, and there's one moment, just in case anyone doesn't watch it. I just thought this was funny. My brother and I, we grew up with our family. At 5:30, we all watched Tom Brokaw on the NBC Nightly News. Mm-hmm. So it's sort of a joke to us now, but we're like, Tom Brokaw, the greatest generation, sort of a thing. He's like this figure for us. And like whenever we play Celebrity, with a group of friends, Tom Brokaw is always in there, and everyone goes, "Oh, the Hall brothers." Oh, because his name always comes up twice. That's the joke, because we both always put him in. So there's a moment in the movie where Gary Hart is saying, like, "Look, this isn't a big deal. Like, no one cares about this." And he has this speaking engagement that's, sort of a smallish to middle-sized event. But when they arrive, there's all this press. And it's, of course, because they want to hear him talk about the scandal. And some people from his team look up and they're like, "Oh, man, Tom Brokaw's even here." And there's this shot where you see this man silhouetted by light with the press in this balcony. And I just immediately took a picture and sent it to my brother. And I was like, "Brokaw."
That's hilarious.
But how about you?
Geez. Well, just a mere moments before I got on to record with you, I finished watching 13 Days.
Yes, I know you and Sean talk about this movie ever since I've known you guys, and I can't believe I still haven't gotten to it.
You've never seen it? Oh, okay.
No.
Well, I say this all the time. You've got a really good movie waiting for you.
Yeah.
So it's directed by Roger Donaldson. It's from 1999. It stars Kevin Costner and Bruce Greenwood and Stephen Culp. Bruce Greenwood plays John F. Kennedy, and it's about the deliberations inside the White House during the Cuban Missile Crisis. Right. And I mean, I've lived and breathed this movie for a long time, although I hadn't seen it in a little while. But I've been watching a lot of these fact-based films with my oldest son lately, and so I was like, you should check this out. I think you'll really like it. And it's I think I just needed some kind like a model of competent presidenting.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's extraordinary to look at the events of the Cuban Missile Crisis and realize that, but for the steady hand of John F. Kennedy, we wouldn't be here talking about what happened in the Cuban Missile Crisis, Right. And there's so many moving pieces at play on what is sort of the chessboard of global diplomacy. But as a film, it's incredibly engaging, partially because Bruce Greenwood and Stephen Culp, who plays Bobby Kennedy, they just disappear into their roles. They are so good. It's weird how little both of those actors are talked about, because I think they're just so good.
Right.
Both of those guys are good examples of, hey, that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And really, this was a real showpiece for them. And Kevin Costner takes a lot of shit because his Boston accent is about as good as his English accent, But yeah, I'm Kevin Costner, ride or die. That's me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what, Kevin? Speak however you think Bostonians talk. It's fine,
Is he like, let's pop a Samuel Adams and head to the yard and park our car?
You joke, Brian, but you're like a few degrees removed from what Kevin Costner's. Like right in the beginning, there's a scene where one of his kids hands him a permission slip to sign.
Yeah,
and he's about to sign it, and then he realizes it's not a permission slip. Which he vocalizes by saying, "This isn't a permission slip. This is your report card." And it is friggin' hilarious. But it's still worth watching, so check it out.
Yeah, nice.
This is big for me, Brian.
Yes. Yes. I can't wait to hear about this.
I have finished ER.
Hey. Outstanding.
My pandemic journey through that series. This is other than my marriage and this podcast, this is now the third longest commitment I've ever had. Was sticking with ER for the entirety of by chance, because we started watching it on April 30th.
Yeah.
We watched the final episode on October 30th. So exactly 6 months.
Wow.
6 months, 15 seasons. I feel like I should have a medical degree waiting for me on the other side of this.
Wait, so what were the years that show aired?
1994 to 2009.
Wow. Okay.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So in other words, in real time, I went from high school sophomore to college professor with 2 children.
Wow. Wow. I can't believe this show was on for all of that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so it was, I've talked about it enough times that people are probably just sick of it, but I do feel like I need to tie a bow around this.
Of course.
It was funny because we end, first of all, by the time, it was fairly quickly into our run, all my kids had gotten into it.
That's cool.
Right. And so by the end, my third one, he was like, don't watch the final episode without us.
Huh.
So it was like the whole family watched it.
Yeah.
And that was fun because they were plugged in. They knew all the characters and everything. But really, like what really astonished me, Brian, was how consistently good it was.
Yeah.
Throughout. And I said this before, like it started out at like just an extremely high level and it dipped down a bit, but it never became bad. Like it remained good, Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And how do you sustain that over 15 years?
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, most, if not, well, no, I can't say all, but most shows don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say 5 seasons is difficult enough, right? For consistency, but then you get into, Simpsons, most people would say like 9, 10, 11 is like a dip, but to get to past that and to keep the bar so high, that's incredible.
I mean, I think what helped is that the format of the show allowed for constant reinvention.
Yeah, sure.
Because, actors would come in and out, and rather than that being a debit, it became a strength because you'd get sort of a new kind of energy.
Mm-hmm.
And the shifts would happen in waves overlapping with each other, so it was never like, wait a minute, who are all these people?
Yeah.
It was always there was a steady flow, and it is like a perfect example of what network television excels at. Because I don't think this type of show would work on cable.
How so?
I think cable is geared towards peak TV. It's geared towards your Breaking Bads or your, where you have a quality show that's geared towards beginning, middle, end.
Right.
Whereas a show like ER, and I think ER was better at it than many, but it utilizes the network model, which is meant for eventually syndication, to allow for longer form storytelling that has, internal beginnings, middles, and ends. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
And so it ended, Friday night, and Saturday we're kind of like, all of us are like, what do we watch now?
Yeah.
We're in this lull, and
Yep.
and it was funny because my wife especially, she's like, because we started watching NYPD Blue. I was like, oh, you should watch this, and we got a couple episodes in, and she's like, it's good, but it's not ER.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, then you can start watching Grey's Anatomy or some shit, I guess. And she's like, that, I don't know, I'd feel like I'm cheating. and yeah, I get it,
Yeah.
So my next watch now, we're going into NYPD Blue, and I'm enjoying that. So
Okay.
But
I have to ask you a question. You said it started, or it ended strong, but did you feel there was any jump the shark moments in there? I mean, just after all those years, I mean, were there things where they tried something and they're like, maybe they were able to pull back from it? And
there's moments, I think I've even discussed it on previous episodes, where like the drama was very heightened. Mm-hmm. And it got, I think it's like one of the season finales where it's like, these people escaped from a prison and they've taken over the ER, and this person
right.
is, and they've stolen, and it's like, it's like a lot, right? Whereas in the early seasons, there's a first season episode where the whole thing is about just Anthony Edwards trying to save this woman who's having a difficult pregnancy. Like, that's the whole episode.
Right.
And it's just riveting.
Right.
Right. But I think on the whole, they managed to keep the drama fairly realistic within the world. It's funny, there was one episode, okay, where the series crossed over with another show called oh God, what's it called? It was a cop show on NBC called Third Watch.
Okay,
another one of these cop shows, which I never watched. But you have Sherry Stringfield from ER. She ends up going to, I think it's New York, and she's dealing with the people from that show. I was watching it, I told my wife, I was like, this feels fake to me. Like it's maybe it's hard to explain, but when I watch ER, I'm like, this is real. That's a show.
Right.
I was like, so it felt like, well, we've gone from the quote unquote real world to this TV show.
Like, now they're on a set.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Even though it's all a set.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
But there was this internal similitude that they were very good at preserving for the most part. And when, occasionally that was punctured. I mean, there's a famous thing where Paul McCrane, like, he's this just total asshole. He's like one of the attendings, and his arm gets, like, cut off by a helicopter rotor, which is like, what the hell? And so he, like, he has a prosthetic arm for, like, a season. And then, like, a year later, there's another helicopter that's coming, and basically it malfunctions, and it crashes, and wouldn't you know, it falls right on top of him.
Oh, no.
And what's funny
like
is
Final Destination, it was like, I wasn't done with you.
It literally, right? And so it's very interesting. You talk to some people, they're like, oh, that was when I gave up on the show.
Right.
And to me, I'm like, that's the one. You get one of those.
Sure. I mean, you got to try something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So what I would say to you, Brian, is watch like an ER a night, You might be surprised how you end up making your way through it.
I can see that. I definitely watched it in the 90s, like, regularly. I remember really liking it. So, but I don't think. Then I went to college, and I didn't see the later seasons. But
yeah, it was
very cool.
This final season, they did a lot to, like, bring back a lot of the classic cast and stuff. So it was very funny because there's one episode where George Clooney and Juliana Margulies come back, and Eric LaSalle comes back in that same episode. So my third one, he's like, wait, Doug Ross is back? Carol Hathaway is back? Dr. Benton is back? My 9-year-old. So you can tell they really plugged into it, which is fun. It was nice to be able to share that with them.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to keep you posted on NYPD Blue. So
yeah, I never watched that. So
I loved that show when I was a kid.
Yeah, I remember it was sort of it's like trying to push what network television could do. That was sort of. You
know what's hilarious, Brian, is because we're about 4 episodes in now, and there have been 2 naked asses just out there in front of God and everybody, right?
Yeah.
And it's hilarious because it's so. It stands out now. Like, that dates it more than anything else. Because you don't even see that on network TV now.
Right.
Because it's very, like, Cinemax After Dark, the way it's filmed. And
really? So
yeah,
they're trying to be like...
They're trying to be, and you get your butts up, but you have to, like, make sure you don't show a nipple or,
I see, yeah.
And it's like, like, I can just go to the internet for this. Like, come on,
Isn't one of them Dennis Franz?
We haven't gotten it, but I've warned my wife. I'm like, you're going to see a lot more Dennis Franz than you probably ever need to in your life, but you're going to get a lot of that. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's good. The stories are good. I remember there was an actress in there who was from Wheaton, Illinois, which is where I'm from. So there was articles about her. And that's what I remember most about it.
Do you remember who that was?
I don't. I just remember she was blonde.
Well, Gail O'Grady, probably.
Yeah. If I saw her, I would remember.
Yep. Gail O'Grady. I just looked it up. Look at this.
Oh, nice.
Service with a smile. She was raised in Wheaton, Illinois, and graduated from Wheaton North.
Very cool. Hey, my high school rival.
There you go. Look at
I was
that.
Wheaton South.
Yeah, she was on it for a couple of years. Yeah, but the show was great. So I'm actually very much looking forward to going through it. Again.
Nice, good. Well, good. I'm glad you guys found something.
Yeah, I found. It was either this or just walk into the ocean and never be heard from again. So
Yeah,
I chose this path.
yeah.
All right, hey, let's take a short break and we'll come back and talk through some listener letters. And we are back. We got a couple notes from our listeners, which I figure we can just cycle through.
Cool.
So this is from Matthew Sharif, who says, I've been listening to Zachy gush over The West Wing and Aaron Sorkin. My question is if you have watched The Newsroom and what you thought of it. In our last episode, I mentioned how I'm working through The West Wing, got a little bit more of the final season of that show to go, though this is my, fourth or fifth rewatch of that series. Mm-hmm. I'm a fan, Brian. So The Newsroom was the last Aaron Sorkin TV series.
Yeah.
And I was going to say it was the least, but it's really, I feel like Studio 60 is more derided than that one.
As someone who has not seen either, I do recall that the Studio 60 got quite a hard time.
Yeah. So that's, I'm biased because anything Sorkin does, I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. Now that's fully acknowledging that I think Newsroom was very good, but it had its flaws. Mm-hmm. I would need to revisit it. I haven't seen it since it aired.
Right.
Newsroom, kind of like Studio 60, actually. Both of them had great pilot episodes. Newsroom, it has this scene where, it starts with Jeff Daniels is like this anchor, right? And it's like a college thing where he's on a panel with like a right-leaning media personality and a left-leaning personality, and he's kind of like the middle brow one. Mm-hmm. And like a student asks all of the panelists, what makes America great? Mm-hmm. And like the right wing guy is like, I don't know, whatever, freedom, and the other person's like liberty, and then he's like, he's like right down the middle, like, oh, the New York Jets, and like the moderator's like, no, you need to do a real answer, and he just like explodes in orgiastic blaze of Sorkinism.
I remember this.
Where he's like, America's not great because blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Like, these characters just have like every fact in their head ready to be dropped at a moment's notice, Yeah. Like this many people believe in angels and this many people, blah, 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 it's a great intro to a series, right? And it helps that you have Jeff Daniels doing it, but I don't know that the show ever measured up to that potential.
Right.
Kind of the same, again, the Studio 60, which I have recently revisited, that's a fascinating, frustrating show. Because it stars Matthew Perry.
Because you like the world?
Yes. You know what? I like the characters. Mm-hmm. I think the world makes no sense.
How so? This was one that took place at a Saturday Night Live type show, right?
Right. So Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip is the name of the show, and it's the name of the show within the show. And it's like Saturday Night Live. So you start with Judd Hirsch is like the Lorne Michaels of this of this SNL show. Mm-hmm. And this was right after West Wing ended. So this was like fall of 2006. Mm-hmm. Sounds right. So it's like, the Iraq War is going on. It's very political, and so they're not allowed to do some sketch. Like this is right in the cold open of the show, and so Judd Hirsch is like, hold on a second, and he starts talking to the camera. This is going to be a good show because, and he's just doing Howard Beale, like it's not a great country because it's like the same, the same exact thing,
Yeah.
And so anyway, he gets fired, and so Matthew Perry, playing Aaron Sorkin, Schmerin Schmorkin,
right.
basically. And then Bradley Whitford, who's like his director, like they're brought in to run the show. Okay. And you say, okay, well, it's the behind the scenes of SNL. It's not, you know what I mean? It's not the White House.
Sure.
Like the West Wing, the conceit of the show is that these are interesting people, and so we get to follow them do this work. But it's like they're talking about like, oh, this country has invaded this country, and what are we going to do? And oh, this tax policy is going to benefit this people. Like there's a framework in which that they're doing important work, right? So when you apply that exact same set of parameters to like, what's the cold open of this show going to be about?
Sure.
Right, and the frustrating thing is that we keep being told in the show how important the show is, right?
right.
Like, no, this we're deciding the discourse, and we're telling people what to talk about, and we're guiding people to good decisions, bad decisions, and the thing is, Brian, you and I, we live in the world where Saturday Night Live exists.
Yeah.
And so we say, like, okay, well, look, Saturday Night Live has its place in the discourse, but it occupies, like, the place that it occupies is, like, in the corner there, like...
Yeah, well, no, I would love to see that scene where they're talking about all of these things and how vitally important they are, but then they cut straight to the sketch that they're doing of the moment, which is Mad About Shoe. Yeah. And then you're like, wait, what?
Yeah, like, I'll give you a perfect example. I think it's the second episode of the series. It's called The Cold Open, and it's Matthew Perry. It's so much pressure because this is their first time that they're on the show, and they need to make a statement about what the show is going to be or whatever, right? So it's like struggling over the cold open. And for those of you who don't know, the cold open is like what starts, like on SNL before they say live from New York. That's the cold open, right? And what they end up doing, and you see it in the episode, is this very elaborate retake, like a remix, if you will, of the main song from HMS Pinafore.
Okay.
And you're like, well, that's not like, I mean, you know what I mean? That's not particularly.
That's something Sideshow Bob would find absolutely delightful and insightful.
Exactly,
and
right?
Little other of the audience.
That's exactly right. I am the very model of it. It's that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I know Aaron Sorkin is like a big Gilbert and Sullivan fan.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, that's great, Aaron, but
right.
I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the paradox. So I think the show, I can't hate it because it's got good writing and you got interesting characters doing interesting stuff, but it's so weird.
What about Sports Night, where it's similar? I'm sure it has the same sort of stakes feeling about all of it, but it's also about something that isn't.
I think Sports Night hit the exact right mix. Because Sports Night was before the West Wing. The second season ran concurrently with the West Wing.
Oh.
And Sports Night was just a straight up sitcom.
Okay.
And I think that was a mistake. I think Studio 60 should have been a sitcom. Of course, then it would have been 30 Rock.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Which, if you remember, both of those shows started the same season.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So you had two shows on NBC, home of Saturday Night Live, about the behind the scenes of a Saturday Night Live type show.
Wow, that's funny.
Which just feels like a lot of that in a single lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so, I think Studio 60 is very recent to me because there were a couple episodes where I was just rewatching and I was shocked by how good the pilot was and how mixed the rest of the series is. And it's like there was no mission statement past the pilot.
Right.
Right.
Well, maybe, some ideas may just be better movies.
Yeah,
like just kind of have a beginning, middle, and end, and maybe there isn't something to say every week for 5 years. Yeah.
I think that's watching Studio 60 for whatever it was, 26 episodes. That's the thing you say. You say, what did this show look like for 5 years?
Mm-hmm.
That was the question,
Yeah.
And I don't have an answer to that. Newsroom lasted for 26 episodes too, but it was spread out over 3 seasons.
Right.
It was like 10-10-6. Yeah. I think they're all good to varying degrees, and I recognize all of Aaron Sorkin's like tropes, and it's like you're either down with it or you're not. You know,
Right. I get that. I mean, I have those people for me, right? I mean, Spielberg, obviously, like even his bad movies, I enjoy watching them because I recognize the Spielberginess that I like. But I know the ones that don't hit as well as some of the others.
Yeah. So thank you, Matthew, for that. This is from Marshall Perry. He says, speaking of Sorkin, glad you guys got me on Trial of the Chicago 7. I didn't even really get showcased. It didn't really even get showcased on my Netflix, and I had to search for it. It really did feel like true cinema again, by qualified filmmakers.
That's kind of interesting. I know, just pivoting just a little bit, but we talk about that where it's when a movie comes out in theaters, then we know it's going to be in all video distribution, and it's going to be on HBO, and then it'll be on CBS Sunday night, maybe some night, and it'll have this life, right? But many opportunities for you to catch it or find it or rediscover it. But when a movie goes to a streaming service, it's featured, and then you watch it, and then you really, really have to dig to find it again because it's not going to just rerun and you're going to come across it, right?
Yeah.
And that's interesting then for Marshall that it wasn't even showcased for him, right? Unless he had been directed toward it. For whatever algorithm is been, set up by him through Netflix, he might have just kind of missed him.
We are trapped by the algorithm.
Yeah, yeah.
It's some Black Mirror shit.
Yeah, kind of.
Right?
Yeah. But I'm really glad he liked it, though.
Yeah, I mean, if we could play some small part and put the word out, that's all good.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's just been the weird reality of this year, like you mentioned. But with these movies not going to theaters, you kind of have to seek them out yourself. And I think they're presented more to us when they're theatrical. We have trailers being like a triumph, and we're not really getting that for... and so we kind of have to decide. I mean, there's so many of them. I mean, Netflix, I think I read somewhere, they have it designed that a big movie will come out every 2 weeks. But it's not always going to be for you. Like one will be, this is going to be sort of the teen romance film, right?
Yeah.
And then in 2 weeks, it'll be we have, Mank, right? Coming out by David Fincher, which will, I imagine, not be for a lot of people,
One thought, though, just from what you're talking about, like, Netflix, we want to have a new big release every couple weeks. The problem is, like, by the time the next thing has come out, the previous one has already fallen out of the conversation.
Yes. I actually thought about that with Borat because I saw an article that said, like, tens of millions of people have watched it. And I was like, oh, wow. But then I've got to imagine that was a huge pop. Right. And then I don't know how many people are watching it this week. Right. It's just a whole different sort of.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, that's just a potential peek into the new normal. So hopefully that's not the case.
Yeah. Well, then it kind of makes you wonder. This is another thing, too. Yesterday was Halloween, and I saw a lot of people's kids dressed up as characters from movies I grew up watching.
Okay.
So there was, The Karate Kid, and I saw like a Marty McFly, and all these things that obviously the parents are influencing to some degree, but I'm sure they probably just showed those movies to their kids, and they wanted to dress up like that. And so I thought, wow, it's so interesting. I mean, obviously it has a lot to do with the parents' age, but that those characters have sort of endured and are still capturing kids' imaginations. And so if these movies just become these big pops for us and then we move on in the next 2 weeks to the next thing, I wonder how many characters now people will be dressing up as in 20 years, or if they'll still be dressing up like the Karate Kid,
Yeah, like, I mean, but we've been talking about that before, how the pop culture singularity, just sort of swallows things up,
Yeah, it's true.
That's
old man Brian and Zachy rocking chair conversation.
All I'm saying is, can we look forward to kids dressing up as Sacha Baron Cohen as Abby Hoffman? What a shame it would be if that didn't happen, Brian.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
We'll have to see if Trial of the Chicago 7 has a Halloween costume afterlife. Here's a comment from Todd Polt, who listened to our Lost World commentary. and he said, or rather, this was him before listening to it. He says, not a Lost World fan, but it'll be interesting to hear you guys talk about it. You lot's infectious energy liking something tends to make me want to give such films another chance down the road.
Oh, well, I'm happy to hear that. I mean, as I said, I'm not as familiar with it as Zachy, and when I rewatched it, I was like, yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's just, it's never captured my heart like the original. But I had a blast watching it with you, Zachy, and so I hope then even people who aren't huge fans listening to the commentary will get reinvigorated and want to watch it again and rediscover it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed rediscovering it.
I had a really good time going through it and just sort of talking through what made it fun for me. And it's weird to me how continually polarizing that movie is this many years later. I mean, 23 years on, still people got opinions.
Yeah, I wonder if that's just sort of become the narrative, right? And you, even if you don't remember it, you just remember that that's the one that wasn't as good.
Yeah,
and you know, and it also after the first one, which I think is the complete package. The first one, the characters, the story, the adventure, all of the above, right? And then the second one had really, really great, for me, had really, really great action, pretty good characters, pretty good story. But it's revisiting it, I was like, oh, well, I don't care as much because now, like, I think we even mentioned during the commentary, now there's like going to be 6 of them.
Yeah.
And with that scale, I'm like, oh, no, yeah, this is definitely the second best of the Jurassic Park movies. And that's,
right.
you know, and that's a different measurement than we had when we just had the first one.
What's interesting is that this next one, Dominion, is really, when you think about it, shaping up to be the first true sequel to that first movie. Mm-hmm. In that, it's all of the original characters. Right. It's all of the same thematic elements.
Yeah.
And Dodgson is like one of the characters. I'll bet you any amount of money that Barbasol can is going to factor in somehow.
Yeah.
You know? So anyway, so to me, it's like, okay, well, if we look at these as two ends of a spectrum, with Jurassic one, on one end, and then Dominion at the very end, rather than a sturdy continuum, it's like you have all these like sort of dots on a, like all over the place, like a, like, oh, and this adventure is here, and this is here, and it kind of, it's not a saga.
Right.
It's different adventures. Mm-hmm. And I these days I find that sort of refreshing.
Yeah.
Because that's unlike many franchises,
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is for, oh, by the way, and Todd also said that he would like us to do a Tremors commentary. Right?
Yeah. Oh, that would be super fun. That much like Darkman, that was a NBC Sunday night movie special for me where I think that was the first time I ever saw that, and that definitely became a Hall family.
If nothing else, it would give us yet another opportunity to chime in on the Universal Studios logo. Universal Pictures.
Yes.
Universal Pictures.
And please don't take our Star Wars conversation later to be an early sneak preview of Tremors.
There you go. Touche. This was from Carlos DM on Twitter. He says, man, Zachy's Corner making me feel a little less alone in my love of Jurassic Park, The Lost World. Sat there constantly saying yes and doling out virtual fist bumps as the fellows run down all the wonderful things this film has to offer. A very enjoyable listen.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm so glad.
So there you go. I'd like to think I kind of, without you even realizing it, just kind of slowly, just gradually moved you over to like my side of the argument on that movie.
I think you did. Oh, we talked about this off air, but I said I felt like I was one of those people that gives a restaurant like 3 out of 5 stars, but then the actual review itself is super complimentary. Yeah. Because it was like, I mean, truly, like on paper, it doesn't stack up the way I would like it to the first one. But then when you watch it, you're like, well, yeah, but it's just fun. You know what I mean? So it's like you measure it differently.
Yeah, y'all. So those of you who hate it, why do you hate fun? Why do you dislike joy? Maybe you need to look inward a little bit and thinking about the choices in your life that brought you to this moment. That's all I'm saying.
Those are going to be all the emails we get for the next episode, where it's like, you know what, you're right, man.
Yeah. All right, let's take another break. We'll talk some headlines on the other side of this. And we're back, and hey, a little bit of sad news just to start off our discussion today. A legend has left us, Brian.
Yeah.
I mean, that term gets used a lot, but I think in this case, I don't know what other word you could use but legend to describe Sean Connery.
Absolutely. I mean,
passed away at 90 years old.
It's funny because we haven't seen him in a long time, and he's 90 years old, but he just feels like he was always there, and he was always going to be there.
Yeah.
In a way, you know?
Yeah. I mean, his last movie was The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen in 2003.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And he flirted with a couple different projects after that.
Okay.
But ultimately, he was just like, you know what? I'm done.
Yeah.
And he just walked away. And you know, I was talking to my brother about this yesterday. I was like, especially in Hollywood, where it is so driven by validation and acclamation, imagine the self-possession it takes to be like, you know what? I'm good.
Yeah.
Because it's not like It's not like he wasn't in demand.
Sure. Oh, sure. If he wanted, he would have done the movie up till now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're reading stories, right, where people had worked with him and were developing things with him, but it sounds like they just didn't work out. But I mean, yeah, he was always going to be in demand.
Yeah. Now, what's interesting to me is that, like, I mean, for our entire childhoods, he was around. Mm-hmm. You know, obviously, he was known as James Bond, but I think it's fair to say that for us, we knew him more from his old man Connery phase.
Oh, sure. Henry Jones Sr.
Yeah. Wherein, by the way, he was not, in fact, that old.
Yeah, not... what was the difference between him and Harrison Ford, do you know?
It was like 10 years.
Yeah, it wasn't by much, yeah.
He was like 59.
Okay.
In Indy 3.
Wow. So, yeah, just a couple years older than Tom Cruise right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know? And I mean, think about it. He was like sexiest man alive in 1989. He
really?
was. I'm fairly certain. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was the year Indy 3 came out, and he, in 10 years later, he was in the Catherine Zeta-Jones movie.
Oh yeah, Entrapment,
right? Which I didn't think was particularly good, but I mean, he was good in it, right?
I don't know if I ever saw that.
I mean, everyone knows like that famous shot of the trailer.
Oh, for sure. Catherine Zeta-Jones going through the laser.
Yeah, and like her butt sticking up, and she just like kick-started a whole bunch of puberties instantly, you know?
Yeah, and The Rock, of course.
The Rock. I mean, think about it. He was 66 in The Rock. Wow. 65, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, just like the definition of like masculinity, you know?
Yeah, and cool. I mean, he's the cool character, right?
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage is the goofball.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
What a career. I mean, I know you've said you haven't seen any or many of his Bond films, right?
Yeah, that was a thing that I started, and I sort of lost my way. I got busy or whatever. But actually, after reading this, I was like, oh man, I got to get back to that. I mean, that's the perfect thing to sort of binge through. So.
Yeah, it's you know, I feel like for all of his, you know, I mean, essentially Bond turned him into a star, and he spent the entirety of the rest of his career being resentful of Bond, like robbing him of his anonymity, you know?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think, I mean, he had a very, like, a love-hate relationship with that franchise, you know? I'm sure by the end of his life, he was more sanguine about the fact that it was one portion of his filmography.
Sure.
But, I mean, you know, he left in 1970 the first time, and he basically spent the entirety of the 70s trying to prove that there was life after that role, you know, and not always successfully. Mm-hmm. I think it took really... Well, I'm trying to think. I mean, he was in So he's in Robin and Marion. That's from the 70s, and that's really good if you haven't seen that.
I haven't.
That's that's Sean Connery as Robin Hood, and Audrey Hepburn as Maid Marian.
Wow.
Yeah. And
I'm going to be honest. I didn't even know that existed.
Oh, it's and Robert Shaw is the sheriff.
Huh.
But it's like in they're older now. Mm-hmm. It's great, really good.
I'll check that out.
Yeah. And that was the first time where you got Connery without the piece on his head, and he's older. Mm-hmm. It's weird how in the first Bond he's like 32.
Right.
But I swear to God, you watch that. So he's like 10 years younger than us, basically.
Right.
And you watch that movie now, you're like, well, no, he's obviously 20 years older than me. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. There's just no way.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, the phenomenon notwithstanding, Connery just was like older than his years.
Yeah.
Because think about it. By the time in Robin and Marion, he's like 45.
Uh-huh.
And he's already bald, and he's got the gray beard, and you're like, oh, shit, yeah.
No, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, the gray beard, how that kind of does what it does.
I mean, it's,
the gravitas.
Yeah, it's like once if you go prematurely gray, in a way, or bald, I guess, in a way, it's like the Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away. The upside of that is you pretty much just get locked in time for decades.
Sure. Yeah. But if you are still sort of youthful or have a youthful face, say like a Steve Martin or something, it's just, like you say, it locks you in kind of a good way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He was in The Man Who Would Be King with Michael Caine.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Caine, by the way, who was 87.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that crazy?
He still looks really good, doesn't he?
He does, right?
When he appears in all the Nolan stuff.
Yeah. So that was like 70s, and he did a few things here and there. But I mean, obviously, when you talk about 80, notwithstanding, he did the James Bond where he came back and he did Never Say Never Again, which is mediocre. Even though Irvin Kershner did that, by the way, Brian.
Yeah.
But Untouchables, Indiana Jones, Hunt for Red October, Medicine Man,
Medicine Man, yeah.
The Rock, like the 90s. Late 80s into the 90s, he had some quality output.
Yeah, you're right. It was kind of different eras. You're totally right. 'Cause, I mean, that's where I was introduced to him. I think my dad took me to go see The Hunt for Red October.
Okay.
I think I was like 10 or something. So I think that's probably the first time I saw
You saw
him.
that before Indy 3?
Oh, you know what? No, you're right. I always think that movie was in the 80s. You're right. Last Crusade would have been first, then Hunt for October, and then, of course, Robin Hood and Untouchables and, yeah.
I mean, think about it. Robin Hood, he had the cameo.
Yeah.
And it was like a showstopper of a thing. Like, probably more people remember that cameo than, like, details of the movie.
Right. Oh, and then, of course, I forgot all about Finding Forrester. You was the man now, dog.
You're the man now, dog.
Yeah, which is still up and running, by the way. You can Google that, and then there's a whole website that just repeats that over and over.
Oh, how funny. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that when that started. Another movie, actually, that he's really good in is Highlander.
I've never seen any of those.
Yeah, well, there's really, they say there can be only one.
I do know that for some reason, yes.
That applies to that franchise.
Okay.
But he's in it for, whatever, probably collectively 20 minutes,
The first one or the second?
Well, he's in both, yeah, but again, there is no second. There is no second, Brian.
You're right. What am I talking about?
He is in the second movie that does not exist, but the first one is very good, and my recollection is like he just did it like for free, basically, because they filmed it in Scotland.
Ah.
And he's probably like, hey, we'll fly you to Scotland for like 2 weeks and just hang out and just eat haggis or whatever you guys do.
Whatever they do.
Yeah. But he's very good in that, and again, he's relatively young. Like, that's the crazy. He's like mid-50s, I would say that's another one. Brian, I'm actually curious what you think of Highlander.
Highlander?
Yeah, because there's obviously like a weird cult fandom, surrounding. But there's like weird movies that have weird cults, so like you have to put that to one side. Like, I'm curious what you think of the movie because I sort of grew up with it. So I just have an affinity for it, but I don't know. I need like a Brian Hall opinion.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah.
Like it's
I
not.
really don't. I don't even know. I know it's like has a cult following, but I don't know even what that is. Or
Yeah.
I know next to nothing about it. So it would be kind of cool. I could go into it with no preconceived anything. And
It is extremely 80s. Mm-hmm. There's no surround, and there's no getting out around that. However, here's the upsides. Great Sean Connery performance. Clancy Brown is great as the villain,
oh, that's cool.
and you got Queen music up the yin yang.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's like all songs by Queen.
Huh.
And
Okay.
for that movie,
that's not what I was picturing at all. So.
yeah, and those were written for that movie specifically.
Oh wow. Okay. All right, I'm in.
Like the song. It's even in Bohemian Rhapsody, right? Who Wants to Live Forever?
Yeah, I didn't know that came from that film.
It's all about immortals, right? Mm-hmm. Well, now you know, Brian.
Dun.
That one, I would genuinely be interested in hearing your thoughts on that. I'm just not because I think you'd love it. I don't know, but I'd be curious what you think.
Okay, maybe this week I'll check it out.
There you go. Look at that. Sean Connery, of course, worked with Michael Bay, and I love there's all kinds of stories that are coming out about his various experiences working with directors, and there was somebody on Twitter talked about this is at Bronger on Twitter. He says a character actor friend who shall go unnamed worked on The Rock. At one point, Michael Bay tried to direct his acting. Sean casually turned to him and said, "Why don't you go blow up a bridge?" Now, what's interesting also is there was a lengthy Twitter thread by writer Brian Koppelman who talked about working with Connery in 2004 on a movie that went unnamed, directed by someone who went unnamed, and he went into exacting detail about their process working with Sean Connery and just what an amazing time it was and how generous and thoughtful he was with his notes, etc. Right?
Yeah.
Now, a little bit of Twitter sleuthing, and we find out that the movie was called Josiah's Cannon.
Oh.
And it was supposed to be directed by Brett Ratner.
Huh.
And what's interesting to me about this is that essentially Sean Connery had such a horrible experience with Brett Ratner in the pre-production phase that he was just like, F it, I'm out.
Yeah.
And, people blame League of Extraordinary Gentlemen for, like, basically making him retire from movies. It feels like, really, it's Brett effing Ratner who robbed us of Sean Connery.
What was the great line he had at the end where he said, "I'm sorry to tell you, your director's nothing but smoke."
Yes.
Or something, paraphrasing, but it's something like that.
It's even better. He says he's a bucket of smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically he had forged a great relationship with the writers, and at that point he now starts talking to the director. Sean, so I'm just reading the Twitter thread here from Brian Koppelman, who wrote Ocean's 13, by the way, if you're looking for like a frame of reference. Sean asks the director how he's planning to shoot it. Director says, "I'll use movie magic." While he's like eating shrimp, I picture.
Right.
You could hear the silent anger on Sean's end of the phone.
Right.
"I started making movies before your daddy started pleasuring himself. I want to know, shot by shot, how you will execute this." Director says, "Let's talk on Friday, 11 a.m. I'll run you through my storyboards and shot list. And for that call, it can just be me and you, Sean. We don't need the writers." As I'm reading this, Brian, I want to punch Brett Ratner in the face non-stop. So the writers say, "We're fine with this. Let them sort it out and tell us what you need." 11:15 a.m. Friday rolls around. Our phone rings. Sean says, "Where the is the director?" We say, "We don't know." And then suddenly we hear a sigh. For sakes. I just turned on the telly and there he is. There who is? Director's name. Brett Ratner. I'm inserting that. "He's in a goddamn female player's box at the effing French Open. I'm afraid, boys, I agreed to do a movie directed by a fraud. You've done very well, but I'm quitting this thing. Today." And that was that.
Wow. You know what, though? You got to admire it, right? I mean, he cares about what he's doing. He doesn't just show up and point the camera and I'll do what I do. He wants to know, what are you making?
Yeah.
How are you going to make it? This all matters. And I I care about this. And he saw that the filmmaker didn't. Right? So that's pretty... You know what I loved, by the way? There's a little detail at the beginning of that story where he wants to come over and meet with the writers, and they're like, oh. And so I guess he's coming over to their apartment / office. And so they're like, so we did what we thought we should do. We got a fruit platter, and we had paper plates. Which I can just imagine myself in that scenario. And he says, he goes on to say that Connery shows up looking cool, walking into the place, sees the fruit. And I feel like he says he could read on his face that he got it. Like, oh, who these guys are, what they've done for me. And he said, he smiles and comes in and is like, let's get to work. I was like, God, that's cool. That is so cool.
Here's my thing. How are you going to be Brett Ratner?
Yeah.
And know that you have a phone call at 11 a.m.
Yeah.
with Sean friggin' Connery.
Yep.
And just blow that off. Like, I don't understand that.
But then again, maybe that's why Brett Ratner is Brett Ratner now.
Yeah, like I don't even think.
Things.
I mean, this is not telling tales out of school at this point because this is all out in the open.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy had a rep like before the shit hit the fan with him.
Yeah, and I don't even know where this cockiness came from.
Right?
Right? That's
because
the baffling part.
Brian, this is 2004. Okay,
yeah.
So by this point, he had done 2 Rush Hour movies.
Yeah, which were popular.
Sure.
Sure.
And Red Dragon.
Yeah.
And Money Talks with Charlie Sheen.
Okay.
So, like, man, I don't understand.
Yeah. No, I just as a human being, I don't understand how you can do that. Have a call scheduled and then completely blow it off and go to some tennis match or whatever. But yeah, I mean, when you're making a movie and all this money and people involved and this legend, I mean, it just boggles the mind.
I mean, look at the fact. I mean, it's laid out. Sean Connery, literally one of the most recognizable people on the planet, is like, hey, I'll just come to your apartment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'll eat your fruit platter, no problem.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then, I don't get it. I don't get it, man.
Yeah.
All of these are lessons, I feel like. I mean, Brian, you've worked in this industry long enough. That it's above and beyond the work you do. The opportunities that present are just as much an outgrowth of how easy you are to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's always the people who fail upwards. That's just going to happen all the time,
right,
in every field. But yeah, I think that does happen more times than you hear. Maybe because, as you said earlier, to steal your phrase, talking out of school, maybe people don't share these stories all the time. But you hear later a lot of times, it's like, well, that person was just absolutely unpleasant to be around. And so,
like,
not worth it.
It eventually catches up to you, whether you're a Brett Ratner or a Bryan Singer or you name it.
May take longer.
Yeah.
Than some, but yeah, it would seem a lot of times it catches up with people. So.
It's weird,
Yeah.
Anyway, Sir Sean Connery, you will be missed.
Yeah.
I like it's even as we have not seen him on our screens in 17 years. In a more factual sense, he has never left our screens.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I look forward to going back and going through those Bond films.
Again, I'm very curious to hear what you think of them.
Yeah, and Highlander, yes, of course.
So stay tuned, Little Leaguers. Speaking of Michael Bay, we were talking about Michael Bay. I saw the trailer for this new movie he has coming out called Songbird.
Yes.
And I kid you not, I feel like he basically figured out the exact movie no one wants to see right now.
I would think, right? I mean, so this pandemic hits, right? And then we hear that Michael Bay is going to make a movie about the pandemic during the pandemic. And so, especially early on, you're like, well, how's that going to happen? It's like, oh, he figured it out.
Yeah.
And so, and then as the movie's shooting, you hear that all these violations are being called out for the production. I don't know how they end up getting through it, but.
And this is produced by Michael Bay, we should say. It's not directed.
Yes. I had forgotten that. And I did think he was directing it, but yeah, that's not the case. But essentially, it looks like, I don't think this is, quote, capital T, the pandemic we're going through, but it's sort of what is it, right?
It's COVID-23, Brian.
That's right. It's in the future.
So it's part of the same franchise, but it's a sequel.
Yeah. Yeah, but it sort of starts looking familiar with the things that we're experiencing, but then it heightens them to the point where there's, military helicopters flying overhead, and I don't know, who knows. but it's got Demi Moore in it, Bradley Whitford.
Yeah, I mean it's a pretty good cast.
Craig Robinson, yeah, there's a lot of people in it.
Peter Stormare is back. Dieter Stark.
Yeah, there's I was going to say like secret police. I don't know what you call them. I'm looking at the quotes on this page for it. I guess the city's sanitation department is dragging people from their homes, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know, just not interested. I don't know.
And I love on Wikipedia, it says critics and audiences reacted poorly to the trailer with criticism aimed towards the production and timing of the release. It's like, no kidding, really?
Yeah.
So this and it stars KJ Apa, by the way, who plays Archie on Riverdale.
Oh, I don't know. No, that's rude. I'm sure a lot of people watch Riverdale.
Brian, you mean you don't watch Riverdale?
I have not come across it.
You know of it though, right?
Oh, of course.
Yeah. My students love it.
Oh yeah. No, I know. I know it's popular.
I watched the first episode and I saw Archie sleeping with Ms. Grundy.
Right.
And I was like, all right, well, I'm done with this forever.
Yeah, it sort of felt like a Funny or Die
yes
sort of take, right? Where it's like they're all like 29 years old and it's like edgy, super sex heavy and violence, and I'm like what? This isn't Archie.
This is like the comic book where Jughead is like eating hamburgers and stuff, and
right. It's like what if Archie, actually, but not Archie at all?
This is like where like there's a brother and sister sleeping with each other and stuff, and it's like, okay, well, that's different.
Is it really?
That was at some point that was in the mix. Yes. Aren't you glad Game of Thrones opened that particular floodgate, by the way?
Yeah. Right.
Aren't you glad it made incest part of just like our serialized storytelling now?
Yeah. There's like a whole new card we can play now. Yeah. We're like, all right, well, we already got the guy's arm chopped off in the helicopter rotor. What next? It's like, hey, he has a sister.
Okay. Anyway, speaking of dead horses, I
don't even know what's next, but that's great. Yeah.
Brian, it's left us too soon. Quibi.
Quibi quibbed its last quib.
It's a quibtastrophe, you might say. 6 months.
6 months.
So as long as it took me to watch
billions,
ER,
capital B, billions of dollars.
In the time it took me to stream 15 seasons of ER, an entire streaming service rose and fell like the Roman Empire.
And you know what's so weird about this is anyone could have told you.
Right?
Anyone could have told you this was going to happen. It's funny because it's hard for me. I don't think it's a good thing. These are lots of people's jobs. I really, really feel bad for all the people who are working over there. This sucks.
Yeah.
But what's so, I guess why we have these, we're sort of chuckling about it a little bit is it just feels like it's not a horrible idea, right? This short form content, but it did feel like it didn't happen organically. It felt like it happened by a bunch of suits trying to figure out how people think, and they came up with something that was like, no, that's not quite it.
It's like right? The boardroom people in The Simpsons came up with it.
Yeah. Where you're like, yeah, no, you have the right sort of information or thoughts, or yes, people are using phones and people are looking at this and that, whatever, but they went about it the entirely opposite way of that would make sense for anyone. I mean, the subscription cost was more than Disney Plus or right, and it's just for these shows that are not even 10 minutes long, and it was just such a crazy backwards idea. I don't know.
Yeah, it's you think about it, and it's like, well, all you're doing is putting money into the type of shit that we see on YouTube.
Which is free.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you say to yourself, well, wasn't there a way to, instead of creating a whole platform around it, create the content and then distribute it through YouTube?
Mm-hmm. And find some way to make a profit. But yeah, I don't know. I just it's like what else can be said? It was such like a wonky idea. I just can't believe that they were charging as much as they were, and they weren't allowing you to beam it to any other screen other than your phone, which was just bonkers, right?
Yeah.
And then, the pandemic hit, and that was, Katzenberg was at first sort of blaming it on that, right? Where he was saying this was meant for you to be on your commute, and this was meant for you to be standing in line somewhere, but now we're in a time where no one's doing any of those sorts of things.
Yeah.
But I think when he had sort of his exit RIP kind of denouement of the whole thing, he was just like, okay, look, I can't entirely blame it on the pandemic. So at least we got that.
Yeah, I was going to say that Quibi now gets to join the pile alongside such discards as the XFL.
That is so yes.
But then I just, as I was Googling XFL, I read that Dwayne Johnson purchased the XFL, and
I saw that. Yeah.
so I was like, okay, well then Quibi, you're all by yourself.
Right. Well, XFL from whenever that. What was that like? That feels that has to be like a 2000s.
2000s, yeah. None of the stuff that they had on there seemed particularly appealing to me, and it's just, yeah. Hubris, thy name was Quibi, so.
Yes, hubris. I've been wasting all these words when I was basically just trying to say hubris.
It was 6 months and billions of dollars of just pure hubris.
Yes.
You do wonder about this stuff. I mean, because the streaming services are having varying degrees of success, right? I mean, and their approaches are different. Like I look at something like Peacock, which has an ad-free and an ad-supported model, and I'm like, well, that seems like a smart way to go. If you have Comcast, you get Peacock for free.
Oh.
Which is nice. Like, I get it for free, which is nice. But like Peacock seems to be doing okay. HBO Max seems to be doing okay. So it feels like the Quibi folks found the app, like the collection of features that were unappealing to everybody.
Yeah.
And they just boiled it down into a single thing.
Yeah.
Here's what I want to know. Did that Fugitive series ever end? Did you ever find out if it was worth giving a shit about?
I don't know. I don't know how they can do this, but if there's some way they can repackage their shows and assemble them into actual, they probably take the whole seasons and make an hour-long show, and then maybe someone will watch them on YouTube.
You never know.
Yeah.
All right. So what else? What else do we have going on?
Well, just not a whole lot to say here, but we had mentioned that they been trying to make an Uncharted movie, get that off the ground for a while, and I'm a huge fan of the video game. And I really do feel like it's like the second coming of Indiana Jones in the best possible way. Those games, those have been the Indiana Jones.
I thought The Mummy with Brendan Fraser was the second coming of Indiana Jones.
They may be.
To some folks.
Yeah, to some folks. And that's not me discrediting them. I've just never been as endeared to them or even as familiar with them. I don't think
I was
even
being
seen all of them.
somewhat sarcastic, Brian.
I was trying to be nice just in case there's...
Yeah, no.
I mean, they're fine. They're fun. I just don't recall them.
I realized as you were talking, I was like, oh, wait, you're not going along with the joke.
No. I was like, I didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings. And I love Brendan Fraser, so, But, oh, man. I actually had, this is a whole side note, but I had the Universal Studios year-round pass once. It used to be they had this deal where if you bought the pass, you could go back for the entire year for free. And so my friend and I did that, and every Saturday morning we would go there and we would ride the Mummy ride at least twice. Damn. And I realized the other day I was in the car and I just started hearing the dialogue from the ride in my head. I was like, oh, wow. It like lodged itself in there.
You went there enough that it made a mark on you.
Yeah. But no, Uncharted is fantastic. I loved all of the games. The character is so great. And it's been a long road. I mean, David O. Russell was in talks to do this at one point with... Mark Wahlberg. Dude, I was stuck. I was like, I could say Marky Mark. I was like, oh my gosh, what's his last name? Mark Wahlberg. And so then eventually Tom Holland was cast. He's going to be Nathan Drake. And I was like, oh, well, I know they keep talking about doing this, and I wish they would. You know, we got this whole pandemic thing in the way. And then this week, they're like, well, that's a wrap on Uncharted. And I was like, oh, they did it. I didn't even realize they were doing it.
That's hilarious.
It's in the can. Fantastic. I mean, I hope it gets distributed in some way that, you know.
What's funny is I don't have any particular familiarity with the game beyond just images I've seen. But, you know, you go from Mark Wahlberg to Tom Holland, and I was like, right?
Yeah. I mean, I love Tom Holland. I mean, he's a fantastic Spider-Man. Nathan Fillion is basically who that character is in the game. So I think there is a bit of a disconnect where you're like, well, I know he's not necessarily a boy. He's kind of more of a man. But I think Tom Holland brings a lot of, you know, people love him. He's built up a lot of goodwill from the things that he's done in the Marvel universe. So I think some people, it seems to me most people aren't getting down on it. They're just I'm rooting for this.
He posted a picture of himself in character, and I was pretty impressed by it, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, even down to his sort of boyish voice is a little bit different than, again, like what you would imagine Nathan Fillion, particularly from Firefly days. I mean, that's Tom Holland. That's Nathan Drake. But I'm open to it. I just hope that they can capture the spirit of the games, because they just nailed it. That whole modern Indiana Jones thing. And
well, he's 24.
Yeah.
And if this is a franchise,
right,
one presumes, I mean, you make it at this age, he bought himself about 15 years of playing this role potentially.
That's true. And I would love nothing more if this became a really beloved franchise. So,
I mean, why not? You know, it's weird how there was a time where a video game movie was almost a pejorative. Like if it's a movie based on a video game, but I feel like we've turned the corner a little bit on that, where we're starting to get better films.
Yeah.
That are. Yeah. I mean, granted, I can't think of one off the top of my head, but I feel like that's the narrative, right? Isn't it? Am I wrong?
Well, Sonic was
Sonic. There you go.
One grossing movie.
We got year. Sonic the Hedgehog now, and he doesn't look like a horrible mutant monster. So come on.
Right. By the way, I was like looking at my tabs that I have open right now.
Yeah.
And I totally forgot I have "In the Arms of an Angel" by Sarah McLachlan, the lyrics. And I was like, why did I? Oh, yeah, I was going to sing that with the Quibi story. I totally forgot. So I'll just close that.
Quibi, we hardly knew ye.
Yeah. And then just lastly, I thought this was interesting. I saw that they're already going to reboot the Power Rangers movie
Well, it's
series.
About damn time, right? What has it been, like a minute and a half since the last one? And
which, to our surprise, we both really liked.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so apparently they're gonna reboot a movie and a TV show that ties in with it. But I just was like, wow, just wasted no time.
So that one did not perform.
Yeah.
And so they're ignoring that, and they're just burning it down and starting over.
Yeah. Which when I saw this article, it reminded me of Reverend Lovejoy in The Simpsons when he's trying to play on the organ. He's like, I just always wanted to do this, and he starts playing the entertainer. He's like, do 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 do. Well, no, that's not it. Let's try it again. Do 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 do. No, I'll get it.
Keep trying.
Yeah. It's like, wow, 2017, and they're like, screw it, let's just start over.
I mean, that previous Power Rangers movie, I had no expectations of. I know you didn't either, because neither of us were in the target demo. So the fact that it ended up being quite a pleasant surprise was just like, oh, well, that's nice. Isn't that nice? You know?
Yeah.
My recollection is we talked about that on the same episode as we talked about Ghost in the Shell.
Oh, wow.
And of the two, we liked Power Rangers quite a bit more.
Yeah, and I guess why it makes me think, too, of that Lovejoy thing is, I mean, what can you do that's different? Like, what are you going to do that this time everyone's going to go, oh, wow, okay, you did it this time, let's go.
Okay, well, hold on. I'm going to play devil's advocate here, because that show ran nonstop from, like, 1993 until, like, 2 weeks ago or something. I mean, it never went off the air.
Yeah.
And they reinvented it every couple of years.
Yeah.
Right? So it started out as Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, it became like Ninja Power Rangers and Time Force Power Rangers, Meth Head Power Rangers, I think was in the mix somewhere. I mean, they kept going, is my point, right? So you say, what else can you do? I'm like, well, we got a list of at least like 8.
Well, I guess my point is, I mean, they made a pretty good Power Rangers movie, right? Like but no one came. Like, why didn't they come? So, like, what are they going to do this time that they think is going to get everyone to show up when they didn't the first time? When you imagine coming out of the gate with it, like, hey, we're making a solid blockbustery Power Rangers movie, and no one came. What do you do this time that's going to make everyone go, oh, here it is?
Well, you know what? Here's what I'm going to say. I know we got people listening to this show who are or were Power Rangers fans. Mm-hmm. So tell us. Like, I mean, just genuine. This is not even being sarcastic. Like,
no.
Did the last movie work for you? If not, what could they have done differently?
Yeah. This is totally. I mean this in all sincerity. Like, I'm almost looking at this as a study. Like, I just was like, oh, but I thought they kind of did it, and I don't know why it didn't work. So what would you do to try to do it again and make everyone not think about that one and make a fresh impression on this one and get you to show up? I'm very curious.
I'm going to say maybe putting it out in like 5-minute chunks that you watch weekly on your phone. Maybe that was the missing ingredient. I don't know.
Maybe.
All right, let's take a short break. We'll come back and talk some spoilers. We actually get to do a spoiler conversation.
Yeah.
And we are back, Brian, and you know what else is back?
What's that?
Din Djarin.
Oh!
Otherwise known to you and me as The Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm. Mando.
Which is, again, I've said this before, that feels vaguely racist to me.
Right.
It's like there's like a Pakistani guy whose name is Ahmed and everybody just calls him Paki.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So the new season just started, and I said a couple weeks ago that I was like I'll watch it, but I wasn't like feeling it. Mm-hmm. And I watched the first episode and I enjoyed it, but I'm still not feeling it. Weirdly,
Zachy, we are exactly on the same page. And I'm trying to figure out what it is, and I think I enjoyed last season. And I think some episodes were stronger than others. I've said it before. It wasn't what I was expecting. I think I'm just so used to, I guess, the peak TV era where everything is just heavily serialized and they're sort of, 8-hour movies. Whereas this, and I've seen a lot of other people say this, it wasn't my original thought, but it reminded them of those sort of syndicated Xena Hercules shows from Saturday afternoons, but it was with a Star Wars skin thrown on it, right?
Yep.
And that it sounds really dismissive, and I want to give it more credit than just being that, because it is more than that. And I thought there was a lot to like about it, but I didn't find every interest held my attention or had me leaning forward for the next episode like I wanted until the end of the season. Then I got really into it when it did get a bit more serialized and they were kind of on the run and they had this ragtag gang together working to protect the child. That I was really into. And then this episode felt like another sort of, it's so weird. It felt almost like a Saturday morning cartoon plot. Right? Like if there was a Star Wars like droids or something, it's like, oh, well, there's this giant worm bothering this town and we've got to stop it.
Totally.
And then we'll move on to something else next week. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there was an episode last season with Gina Carano where they help like this village, like, oh, these guys are attacking us and we're going to help you, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
I think this was better than that one.
Yes.
But this was that one.
Yeah, again, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
It's weird because you said something about like the sort of syndicated, TV vibe, right? Now, obviously, it looks much, much, much better than Xena and all that other shit, right? And they're doing amazing stuff. Yes. With the digital environment stuff. I mean, really, awe-inspiring the way they're using the craft. However, there was a scene in the very beginning of the episode where we see these Gamorrean guards like fighting with each other, right?
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, those don't really look like Gamorrean. Like they look like I know what they are.
Yeah.
But they look like TV versions of Gamorrean guards.
I totally agree. I was thinking that, and I was like, so did they think the costumes wouldn't hold up on HD TV? Or like, but yeah, I was like, this looks kind of like really, really good. Like Heidi Klum's Halloween costume level of Gamorrean guards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
yeah. But you know what? If I can just say real quick about the scale, there was a couple of moments too where I was like, oh, this kind of feels like a TV show, where he arrives at this empty town and there's like 4 people.
Yep.
That may as well have just been in different costumes when they cut to this side of the street and that side of the street. And I was like, wow, this feels really empty and like kind of weird.
Yeah, I had that exact feeling. I was like, the novelty of seeing Star Wars on the small screen starts to wear out a little bit when it looks like Star Wars made for the small screen.
Yeah, but having said that, when we get to the climax of the show, the whole sort of showdown, I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Like this is really looks really good and really expensive.
It's a weird trade. Like I know people listening to this are going to be like, you guys are bipolar.
I was so hesitant to even I was like, oh, I'm kind of nervous to talk about this because I'm sure there are people that loved it and people that think we sound confused. But
like when it ended, I was like, no, that was good. Like I did not feel like I wasted my time.
Same.
But I don't know. I mean, it's just I don't know. For me, when I watch this show, right? I'm like, it feels like I'm trying to like figure out what I'm trying to say. It feels like those novels or something that are set in the Star Wars universe, and they're about like these tertiary or all new characters, right? Mm-hmm. And my relationship to those novels was always like, well, I'm glad that they're there. It's nice, but the stuff I care about is over here.
Yeah.
And so for me, I'm still not like I don't know what I think about the Mandalorian. I don't find him like he's not a character yet to me.
Yeah, you're helping me figure out my own feelings too, because I think when we keep being introduced to new people we're supposed to care about and understand that the Mandalorian would stop and help, I'm like, well, I'm really more interested in his journey.
Right.
You know, I'm interested in him protecting the child and whatever sort of perils come their way, but then it's like this town coming to some sort of truce with sand people, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, obviously I like the whole what I'm looking at because I love seeing banthas and I love seeing, I mean, they even do like a nod to that random prop that man was carrying in The Empire Strikes Back.
That's right, yeah.
You know what I mean? Which I'm like, look, you're winking at me and I am liking it. Like, you know, so there's definitely
and this episode, I mean, it's called The Marshal. They might have well called it fan service, right? Because that's...
Yeah.
And
I'm not even mad about it. I gotta say, like,
totally,
this is the stuff I love, and that's why when it was over, I was like, I can't wait for the next one. I'm gonna watch all of them, and I'm probably gonna end with the same sort of feeling. It's just not the show I was expecting, I suppose.
You know what's funny, Brian, is so I watch it with the boys, right?
Yeah.
And I've said this to you before. Like, it helps a lot to experience, especially Star Wars, through them, because I get to they plug into all this stuff.
Yep.
And they care a lot, and so I'm kind of like, oh, I'm glad that they're picking up on all this stuff. And right afterwards, we watch like on YouTube. There's a Screen Crush. They do like here's all the Easter eggs in this episode, you know. Mm-hmm. And so just go through and and then there was this, and this was from this, and you know all that stuff. And they just, their minds are blown, you know. Mm-hmm. Like the crate dragon. Mm-hmm, when it like roars at the end, I'm like, hey guys, that's the noise that Obi-Wan makes when he like scares off the sand people. Right. And they were like, really? And they were like so excited. Like, how do you know that? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just guessing, I knew, Brian. I knew. But like, it's there. It's working on that level. And so I can appreciate that. But it's weird how, like, you have an opportunity to use the TV format to tell a really like a long form story. Mm-hmm. So you can do your own Star Wars saga. So the fact that we're doing like, Hercules' Legendary Journeys,
Right.
with Boba Fett armor, that is a little like, yeah, come on. I mean, you can do a little more than this, right?
That's my feeling, but I literally did. I'm happy to hear that your kids are enjoying it, because I did think about that last night, where I was like, you know what? This is for kids. First and foremost, this should be for kids.
Yeah.
And I can imagine they haven't seen something like this before. That's maybe the problem, is I've seen this before.
Right.
And I hope then that the Obi-Wan series is different, right? And then I hope that the Cassian story is different. Yeah. And then in that way, I'll be like totally cool with it. Like Mandalorian,
like this thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's how I'm feeling.
Well, I guess the spoiler. Are we doing spoilers?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So past this point, folks, you're gonna be spoiled. So you've been warned.
Spoiler.
The episode ends with the return of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Which I've said before. I appreciate that people have an affinity for the character. I've never been part of the cult of Boba Fett. Mm-hmm. But it's the fact that it's actually Tamora Morrison back in the role that does intrigue me.
Yeah. I mean, so what did you think when you saw Timothy Olyphant? Which, by the way, what a handsome man.
Dude, I had that exact thought. I was like, it's not right.
No.
It's not fair.
Yeah.
That he has, in fact, gotten better looking as he's gotten older.
Dude, yeah, speaking of the gray hair, I mean, like, first of all, his face is handsome, and then he's got that hair, and I was like, look, man, one or the other. Like, but when he shows up wearing Boba Fett's armor, I mean, I was like, oh. Like,
so I was like, well, that is for sure not Boba Fett.
Right.
But that is for sure Boba Fett's armor.
Right.
So that right away, I was like kind of mad at myself for being such a dork that right away I was like, well, that is obviously Boba Fett's armor. I was like, boys, give me a wedgie. Let's go. Let's get this over.
I was right there with you. I got it right away. And then the rocket pack. I mean, we even get to see him use the rocket pack, which was pretty cool.
Now, what's interesting is that the character that Oliphant plays is actually in the books.
Oh, okay.
So there's a series of books called Aftermath, which came out like 5 years ago. So these are the first parts of like the new canon. Mm-hmm. And they actually describe this guy. His name is Cobb Vanth, and what he talks about in the flashback is actually depicted in the book.
Ah, well, that's fun for people that are digging in.
For the nerds who care about that friggin' loser crap.
Those are two ways of saying it.
I'm totally kidding.
Yeah, of course.
We say it with love, losers.
Of course.
Stop being such a dork.
Yeah, I mean, I recognize all this crap that was in there, and I was loving every second of it.
No, but it does tie in with that. We actually see the end of Return of the Jedi vis-a-vis the explosion of the Death Star.
Oh yeah, that was kind of fun.
So that's like the actual footage from the movie, and so that's how the universe saw that.
Yeah, that was cool. They're playing. It was almost like they were playing a GIF of it or something.
Yeah, exactly. Well, here's something. Like there's like text. You know, it's like a 3-dimensional hologram. So there's like text swirling around that.
Yeah.
And apparently that is the Star Wars language, whatever that is.
Aurebesh.
Aurebesh. Thank you. So that is Aurebesh, and if you translate it, it is the opening crawl of Return of the Jedi.
Ha! I love that.
I thought that was fun. And so we obviously, by setting up that Boba Fett's armor has survived, you set up that Boba Fett is out there, right? So I do like that. I mean, to me, this is when we talk about fan service. To me, I like the idea of here's an opportunity to pay off the prequels and lean into some of the stuff that I'm sure you and I would both agree that the fact that Boba Fett is such a crucial part of the whole Clone Wars is a little silly. Mm-hmm. But it's like, well, that exists. That's the history of this universe now.
So let's do it. Let's use it.
Do something with it. Why not? Right? Mm-hmm. And you got Tamura Morrison, who's great.
Yeah. I mean, maybe, time heals all wounds, but yeah, just the familiarity of all of it made me happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, recognizing him, and I'm like, all right, well, let's do this. I'm curious about this story.
It's, I remember when we talked about, and you talk about bipolar, when we talked about Rise of Skywalker, my feelings about that movie are on a spectrum, every day,
Absolutely.
But I remember what we said on the podcast. I was like, you know what? This movie is like just fan service up the yin yang. Just fine. Just give it all to me. Give me all the fan service. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so I'm kind of like, well, if that's my view about that movie, I got to be consistent. You know what? Give me all the fan service.
Yeah.
Hey, look, there's Mos Eisley and there's Anakin's racer engine, or if not his, one of them,
And those pit droids.
The droid, whatever. It's fine. Give it all to me,
Agreed. And then, did you notice, by the way, at the end that the aspect ratio was flipping back and forth?
I didn't notice that, actually.
I thought, I didn't notice it till the end, but after the whole fight with the dragon, the bars, like 235 bars, slowly came back and made it wide again. And I hadn't even noticed that they had gone away. Mm-hmm. So I went and looked it up later, and I saw a website acknowledge it, but they didn't have a reason. So I was like, okay, so I'm not nuts, but I don't know. Maybe it was just more bang for your buck, during the fight. And
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all.
All right. So there we go. All right. So we got.
Yeah. Oh well, real quick. I mean, as long as we're talking about this episode, the Sand People, misunderstood. They seem like they could be reasoned with. I don't know.
Brian, I hate them. We have to slaughter them. The children, too.
Right. It was like, oh, wow, now I'm kind of feeling bad that Anakin killed all of them.
Well, hopefully you feel that way regardless, right? I mean,
well, no, because it's an awful thing. But it's like, I don't know. I guess I don't know what they are. Like, are they monsters? Like, are they the Predator? Like going around and just causing mayhem and killing and at random and or are they just scavengers?
This is the problem. This is how George Lucas can't get out of his own way, right? You can't be like, hey, Anakin, Tusken Raiders kidnapped your mom and tortured her for months
to a disturbing effect, in that
right
film.
And now she's dead. You can't on the one hand say that and then be like, and then Anakin murders all of them, and what an awful person Anakin is.
Right.
Like, what is it, Mm-hmm. So, yes, based on now this movie just put a piece of tracing paper over, the searchers, right?
Right.
So by that math, the Sand People are like the Native Americans, which is, I guess, offensive.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I mean, so it's like suddenly this is Dances with Wolves with Sand People now,
Yeah, we have I think 2 campfire scenes with them, right? Where
yes.
Everyone trying to sort of get along, and like a town having to work with the people who were their sworn enemy. And actually, I felt really bad too in that once Sand Person got eaten by the thing. He's
right.
out there just trying to lure the bantha out there. I was like,
Yeah, I mean, to the best of, and somebody who pays attention to all this crap might know more than me, but to the best of my knowledge, they've never been portrayed as sympathetic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't know. That's a good question, though. Something to think about.
Yeah, but I guess what I do sort of enjoy is I know that the people who are telling this story, like Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, who wrote and directed this episode and created this series, I mean, they're interested in the lore. Filoni is absolutely versed in the lore, probably second to Lucas. So I don't know if anyone's going to be expanding it. I'm curious to see him do it.
Yeah, and Filoni is kind of like the guy when it comes to the TV side, right?
I don't know. I don't know. Is he involved with the other shows too? The Obi-Wan and all that?
I mean,
I'd be surprised if he wasn't some sort of executive producer.
in some way. I mean, we know the animated stuff he's been front and center on.
Yeah.
And they have a new animated show, right? The Bad Batch.
I don't know that.
Yeah, it's about like a group of clones that have, I guess, escaped Order 66.
Okay.
Some shenanigans. I think they open like a spring break place for teenagers. I don't know what they. What else would one do when you escape Order 66, right?
Right. It's like some sort of 80s Revenge of the Nerds movie. You're like, I did not see that coming.
It's just a bunch of Tamura Morrisons.
Right.
Wearing Hawaiian shirts and stuff.
Yeah. They're going to lose their lodge and they have to have some sort of ski contest or something.
I would watch that show. I would re-up my subscription to Disney Plus for that.
Yeah.
It's called Star Wars: The Bad Batch, and it's an all-new animated series debuting next year. Follows the elite and experimental clones of the Bad Batch, first introduced in the Clone Wars, as they find their way in a rapidly changing galaxy in the immediate aftermath of the Clone War. Members of the Bad Batch, a unique squad of clones who vary genetically from their brothers in the Clone Army, each possess a singular, exceptional skill. What are they, X-Men? Which makes them extraordinarily effective soldiers and a formidable crew. Okay, well, we'll see. I probably won't be watching that. But anyway, that doesn't sound interesting to me. There's more Star Wars coming, and I suppose we'll be talking about it.
Yeah.
So
looking forward to it.
I think that wraps up this episode. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
I think we're at a good place. We've established, if nothing else, that Timothy Olyphant. We both found ourselves weirdly fascinated by how handsome Timothy Olyphant is. So we're discovering all kinds of things this week, Brian.
Yeah.
We're like, why do I want to run my hands through his hair?
I love for people who are like, "Oh, I'm dying to know what they thought of Mandalorian," and this is how we're ending it.
That's our takeaway.
Yeah.
By the way, have you seen Justified?
No, I haven't.
Dude, that's a show. You will for certain like that show.
You know, that was one when it started. I watched maybe one or two episodes, and it didn't catch for me.
Yeah.
And then I went on to hear people praising it up and down for the rest of its run. So, yeah, maybe that's something I should.
That one, absolutely. I mean, ER, but
Yeah.
also Justified in there.
Oh man, there's so many. And then what was it? 13 Days and Highlander.
You got some work. Get to it.
Yeah.
Speaking of work to do, we were debating what we should talk about in our next commentary track. I think I can announce it now, right, Brian?
Yeah, let's do it.
You know this? We're for our next commentary next week. We will be talking about Waterworld, which a lot of you are like. I think half of you are like, what?
Yeah, that ride at Universal Studios. Yeah.
So this is the movie about the dystopian hellscape in the near future, where the Earth has been overtaken by water, and just marauders are fighting over whatever scraps of land are left. Mm-hmm. So, depending on how the election goes, it'll next week. It might be. Hey, it sounds like a nice place to visit.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. The tone of our commentary might go in entirely different ways. I actually haven't watched this movie in a couple of years, but it is one that I would love to go through and just kind of shoot the shit about while I'm watching it with you.
Ditto. I've only seen it once. So, yeah, this is going to be a total revisit for sure.
That should make for an interesting conversation.
Yeah.
So that is our next commentary track coming up. In the meantime, if you have any questions or comments for us or any requests, and Tremors is absolutely in the pipeline, right, Brian?
Yeah, that'll be a fun one.
I think that's absolutely what we'll be doing, but not yet, Todd. Waterworld,
right.
Waterworld first.
Although I was thinking that when in Mandalorian, when they're like, we got a problem here, and they look off, and then they see literally how we see the graboids and Tremors move underground with the sort of
nice piece of homage.
Yeah, I was like, oh wow, okay.
I did like that aspect of it, absolutely. But anyway, if you have any questions or comments, please shoot them our way. You can email us at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. You can also hit like on our Facebook page, facebook.com/moviefilmpodcast. As always, go to iTunes and leave a review. Leave a star rating. Every little bit helps. And if you're looking for us online, Brian, well, you're not online, but you are on television, which is better than online.
Well, actually, it is online also. Disney Plus, and Disney Junior. Yeah, Puppy Dog Pals still going. Our new season just started, and this was a really fun season to do. So
there we go.
Oh, and you know what? I have to say, a lot of people reaching out to me telling me that their kids watch the show and love the show and are asking to watch the show, and I get pictures sometimes of kids with the toys and everything, and it really means a lot to me. So it's really cool to know that it's going out there. You know, you work on it, you have a lot of fun with it, but I don't always get to see it received by its audience, right? So it's been really sweet to have people reaching out and letting me know that their families are enjoying it. So thank you.
Well, there we go. And I had a colleague of mine on Facebook talking about how unprompted, on her own Facebook page, she's like, that song has been stuck in I've been singing the Puppy Dog Pals theme song all day. And I said, hey, my best friends work on that show.
That's cool.
She said, do you work on it? I was like, no. She's like, well, then never mind. She deleted my comment. I thought it was kind of rude, but whatever. No, I'm just kidding. She was quite impressed by that. No. Anyway, if you're looking for me, you can find me on Twitter at Zacky's Corner. That's ZAKIS Corner. You can also find me at the San Francisco Chronicle and also at IGN, where my various reviews and things go. And like I said, we'll be back next week with Waterworld, and we'll be back soon with our next regular show. On behalf of my partner, Brian Hall, this has been Movie Film 211. My name is Zachy Hassan, and we will catch you next time.
Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. Enjoy the show. Zachy and Brian are talking about movies. Movie Film Podcast on the radio.